third quarter and fall to the Phoenix Suns in very unfortunate fashion, as tonight puts the Sacramento Kings in a spot they have not been in, I guess I can say all year, or at the very least since we've been tracking these things. The Kings are now in the 9 seed, and as it currently stands, would host the Golden State Warriors in a 9-10 matchup, which would only put them one more win away from making the playoffs as an 8 seed. And that's currently a mess up top as well. So we don't even know who the Kings would possibly be facing in that matchup. But what we do know is now the 7 seed is, I believe, out of reach for the Kings now, as New Orleans or Phoenix will now hold that 6 or 7 seed in the Western Conference. And the best that the Kings really can hope for now is a win on Sunday and a Lakers loss to the Pelicans on Sunday, and that would mean that the Kings would then move into the 8 seed and play this very same Phoenix Suns team again on Tuesday, I believe, in Club Phoenix in Phoenix, Arizona, in a 1-game play-in to see who would get the 7 seed. Loser of that gets another opportunity to play the winner of Golden State Los Angeles, and that would be for the final 8 seed. Hopefully, I don't even know what I can say. Hopefully the Kings end up in that situation. Hopefully they don't end up in that situation. I really don't even know what to root for at this point. All I know is that now that we are 81 games through this season, this has been incredibly disappointing finish to the year. I think they're now 3-6 since Malik Monk went down, 8-9 since Kevin Huerter went down with his injury. This is the definition of limping into the playoffs, and it's really unfortunate that those injuries were picked up at the times that they were, but we've seen this Kings team fight in a lot of these games, but ultimately they just haven't had enough horses to get it done. And I don't know if that's necessarily the story of tonight's game, but ultimately when I look back at what went wrong in this stretch of games to close out the season against really, really tough opponents, it was always going to be hard. But ultimately, like, when the Kings don't have Malik Monk, when they don't have a scoring pop like Kevin Huerter either, I don't know how realistic it was that this Kings team was ever going to outlive expectations. Because I was thinking about it the other day. The teams that have now leapfrogged us, Dallas in the 5 seed, we saw them come into this building and just I think I said this the other day on the stream as well, but Dallas came in here, handled the Kings in back-to-back games, Tuesday and on a Friday. Tons of time in between, and Dallas killed the Kings for all intents and purposes. I know that second game was close, but Dallas handled business in both of those. I would say that means Dallas is a better team than Sacramento at this point. The Kings played New Orleans with an opportunity to snatch that 6 seed. New Orleans has now beaten the Kings 5 times this year. I think we can confidently say the New Orleans Pelicans are a better team than the Sacramento Kings. They're ahead of the Kings in the standings. This Phoenix one is really tough. The Kings have blown, I think, 2, and I guess if you want to count this as a third, every game that the Kings have lost to the Suns, it's been a blown game. They've had a substantial lead, I believe, in every single game that they've played the Suns. And some of them they held. I believe the first 2 games against this team of the season, they held strong. And I think it's been 3 in a row now where this Kings team has just completely collapsed in the fourth quarter against the Suns. So I ultimately think the Kings on the floor end up being a better team than Phoenix. But ultimately, you lose 3 in a row to one opponent, and I'm going to say that the Phoenix Suns are a better team than the Kings. But we've seen this Kings team take care of the Lakers all season long. They swept that season series. We've seen them handle Golden State for the most part. They lost that Klay Thompson game winner when De'Aaron Fox didn't play, but pretty much besides that, I know it's been a while since we've seen Golden State, but the Kings have handled their business against the Warriors. I feel like they're a better team. So when you really think about how this season has kind of shaken up, I think everything has kind of fallen into the correct place if it ends up being Dallas as the 5 seed, New Orleans as the 6, Phoenix as the 7, I do think Sacramento deserves to be the 8th seed, and I think it's going to be Lakers-Warriors in any sort of combination. I feel like the Warriors have pretty much secured their spot as the 10 seed, with the Lakers winning and the Kings not being able to reach to reach the play-in. So definitely, at least if the Kings are in that 9-10, we won't have to worry about them potentially slipping onto the road. I don't think it's possible. I could double check here actually before I go and say it, but I don't think it's possible for the Kings to have to play in Golden State. Nope, I'm wrong, because they are currently tied. So if the Kings lose on Sunday and the Warriors win on Sunday, and I don't know who the Warriors play. They play the Utah Jazz. So it's very likely the Warriors are going to pick up a win, which means that it's imperative that the Kings handle business on Sunday against the Portland Trail Blazers. We shouldn't even have to say it. It's the worst team in the Western Conference. At the very least, after this gauntlet of teams that the Kings have played, at the least they're playing the worst team in the West in the last game of the year. It should be a night off. I know it's a 12:30 tip. But the Kings have to take care of business. There can be no playing with their food in that game. It's got to be all hands on deck, blowing them out. And honestly, it should be a 20 or 30-point game by halftime in that one. The Kings cannot allow the Blazers to have any sort of hope or belief in that game, because the Kings just cannot afford to drop another game to a bad team, especially not in the last game of the season with everything riding on it. That would just be the ultimate terror for this team, and losing an opportunity at a playoff spot would be just brutal for this team. They cannot afford it. For a team that wants to make a ton of deals in this offseason, they need as many picks as possible, and they won't be able, if they don't make the playoffs this year, they will keep this year's first-round pick. They will have to forfeit next year's pick potentially to Atlanta, and so they wouldn't be able to trade the closest picks they would be able to trade are 2027 and 2029 if they don't make the playoffs. So if they do make the playoffs, they then forfeit this year's pick to Atlanta. You no longer have to worry about those protections. You lose your pick this year, but you have the option of trading your pick next year, trading the pick after that. You have all of your picks available to move if you relinquish that pick to Atlanta this year. So that's why it's so important for this Kings team to make the playoffs, not the play-in. They need to make the playoffs and relinquish that first-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks. So that's a little bit of, I wouldn't call it behind the scenes, but that's kind of the backdrop of everything else that's at stake here. Besides a playoff berth, besides potentially your season being a complete failure and a waste of time, you also can really screw up what your organization can do to get better next year and make sure that this does not happen again. Can the Kings handle business? Well, that's kind of a complicated question after this one, because taking care of business at this point is beating the worst team in the West. So yeah, they can handle business, but I would say they haven't handled business leading into this. So can they beat the Portland Trail Blazers? I sure as hope so, because if not, then this is going to be a tough stream after. And I know the Kings, especially when you look at just the talent that they have at this point, it's tough to kind of stack it up with a Phoenix roster and with the Lakers roster and with the Warriors roster. But I think that there's still a good chance that if they do get in that 9-10 seed, I wouldn't count them out. I just wouldn't. I know it's a scary proposition to play this Golden State team. I know it would be even scarier to have to win against either LeBron James and Anthony Davis or beat this Phoenix team on the road. But, you know, crazier things have happened, and I do think De'Aaron Fox is a good enough player to elevate himself in those kind of matchups. So it really does come down to, in my opinion, your belief in how much De'Aaron Fox can backpack this team, because we saw in the playoffs last year, it's a different beast. They play a different style, and it's a lot more star-driven basketball, and De'Aaron is the King's star. And we saw Sabonis kind of take more of a back seat in the playoffs last year. I just think the playoffs in general lend itself more to shot creators, and De'Aaron Fox is at this point the best, and you can maybe argue only shot creator that this team has at this point. I don't even at this point in the season do we even talk about the game? Like, if we want to just kind of recap the game here, kind of similar the other night to the New Orleans game yesterday, where you could argue guys took turns. There was a big Trey Murphy first quarter, followed by a big CJ second quarter, followed by a huge Zion third quarter, and then a little bit of everything in the fourth. Tonight, from the Phoenix standpoint, first quarter, who was it? KD he was the only person who had made multiple field goals. He had 8 points. The rest of his teammates had, a couple had 5 from the line and things like that. But KD had 8. Second quarter, KD had 10. So it was really a KD first half. And then Booker had 14 in the third, and then Bradley Beal had 12 in that fourth quarter. They kind of took turns, and that's been a formula that we've seen work against this Kings team a couple times. They just don't have the ability to stop multiple scorers, and that's kind of what Phoenix is banking on with their roster, with having Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and KD. Those are 3 straight buckets, and if they're going, it's going to be tough to stop them. But I thought the Kings played pretty good defense tonight, actually. If you look at the turnover battle, it ended up being 18-7. The Kings, unfortunately, did turn it over a couple times, including the last play of the game there from De'Aaron. But, I thought that the Kings did a good job of just being disruptive to Phoenix, and I did think they took a lot of tough shots. But unfortunately, I think that KD was on one, and they earned it, man. I definitely think. I don't really even know how Phoenix. If you look at the numbers, like the fact the Kings had, they ended with 15 more shots than Phoenix did. They made 2 more threes. The Kings did. They only made 3 less free throws, but Phoenix again had a plus 11 in the turnover differential. So it feels like a game where the Kings probably should have been able to handle it. I'm looking at points in the paint were even. Both teams had 44. Second chance points, Kings won that. Fast break points, Kings won that. It's really strange, actually, if you look at all the numbers, with the exception of just straight-up field goal percentage, which Phoenix shot 52, the Kings shot 44. I guess you can say that, man. I guess it really can be as simple. I don't know, man. Like, where did you feel like they lost it? Because that, like, was it in the fourth quarter turnovers? I think they had 3 turnovers in the fourth quarter after only having 4 through 3 quarters. So you could definitely say they got a little bit sloppy there in the fourth quarter. I did not, again, De'Aaron Fox in the fourth, it was great last year. This year, it has not been it, man. That turnover at the end of the game, the shot that he took beforehand, I just didn't like. Again, and for the second or third straight game in a row, the shots that De'Aaron takes at the end of the game, ultimately, I just don't think are good enough shots to take. And you hate it, man. You hate it. Interesting. Drapes is talking about the physicality. Let me hear. Apparently, Drapes went off on the physicality of this game, which definitely was off the charts. De'Aaron had one in that fourth quarter where Royce O'Neal clearly leaped into him, and they called nothing. It should have easily been an and one. There was a lot of opportunities tonight to get a whistle, and it just didn't feel like they had the call. Okay, here is, hold on, sorry, I keep doing this. Here is Sactown Sports 1140's Kyle Draper on the physicality of tonight's game.
The NBA has a problem right now, ladies and gentlemen, and we had Tim Kempton on the radio today. The physicality has gotten out of control. It is not basketball that's being played right now in the NBA. It is bully ball out there. The NBA has gone too far the other way. Like, this is not fun to watch. Tim Kempton said it. And this is a guy that played in the 90s, played Bad Boys Pistons and all that. And for what I saw out there tonight, and it's not against Sacramento, it's not against Phoenix, it's against both teams, the NBA has to clean that up. I think there's too much physicality out there. And then to adjust to it middle of the season. I just don't like this brand of NBA basketball. It is not enjoyable to watch.
That's interesting.
Because so many times guys are getting fouled, they're throwing their hands up, rightfully so, and these refs are swallowing the whistle. They're so-called letting the players decide on the floor. A foul is a foul is a foul. Make the calls, officials. And this is not about Kings didn't get the whistle. That's not basketball out there, guys.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder what Chelsea had to say after that. I definitely agree with him that the physicality is pretty intense. It was a lot of banging around, especially in the post. There was a couple times Sabonis was claiming he got hit in the head. I know Nurkic was claiming that Sabonis was slapping at him. I saw De'Aaron slapping for the ball a ton today. They were definitely letting them play out there, and I think ultimately the players would prefer it. I think they would prefer a tough whistle than a tight whistle. Ultimately, I don't know if it's something that I want to complain. I'm not saying Drapes is complaining, but I'm not saying necessarily it's bad to complain. I just ultimately think if the players like that player style of play. I know this is an entertainment game, and definitely tonight was a slog. I don't know if everyone else felt it, but maybe it's because it was a 7:30 tip and everybody kind of got here a half hour early, and so all of our schedules were a little thrown off. But it felt like a slow game. It felt like it was dragging out. There wasn't a terrible amount of foul calls, to Draper's point, but it just kind of felt like the game didn't have much of a rhythm, much of momentum, especially for like 2.5 quarters. Just didn't really feel like there was a ton of flow to tonight's game, which is interesting again because Phoenix shot 52%. I know the Kings didn't shoot very well, but it just never really felt like either team could get into much of a rhythm. Let's see here. Yeah, Booker was kind of like, he was complaining a lot. Also, here's my Kyle Draper rant here. What happened to the flop? At the beginning of this year, I remember I saw it the first time in Cal Classic. They call a flop. It's like this, where you just kind of like flop your hand out like that. And it's supposed to be to prevent guys from misleading referees to get these foul calls. There was that, I almost let it fly right there, y'all. I almost let it fly. There was a foul call in the first quarter that was on Davion Mitchell on a Devin Booker closeout. I don't know if everyone remembers it, but it was in the first quarter. It got challenged by, I believe Sacramento challenged it. And I just, it's literally the definition of a flop. Devin Booker just goes to the ground for no reason at all. And they not only did they not call the flop on Devin Booker, they had the audacity to call it a foul on Davion Mitchell. I know they looked back at it. They ultimately determined it wasn't a flagrant. That's what it was. They looked at it and determined it wasn't a flagrant. Didn't even look at it to see if it was a foul or not. They checked it to see if Davion had stepped too far into the shooter's landing zone. And, of course, he didn't, because Devin Booker kicked his legs out, first off, and then second off, just flops down to the floor. It is the definition of a flopping call. It's supposed to be essentially not a technical foul, but more of a flagrant foul where it's other team gets a shot and possession. And there was like legitimately 2 or 3 different times when Booker just went down to the ground. And I couldn't help but be incredibly frustrated because we're trying to take that out of the game. And it's very, very unnecessary for him to just hit the ground after every single jumper. So that's my Draper rant for today. Let's see here. Devin Booker's such a snake. Because Davion threw his foot out like 2 feet. I would love to see a replay on it. I would really love to see. Missed too many shots at the end for sure. Definitely missed way too many shots. Like I said, I hated that Fox mid-range shot he took at the end. I'm trying to remember some other possessions. Oh, HB missed a wide open layup. I can't remember what happened after. I think the Kings ended up getting the ball after, but HB missed a wide open layup with about under a minute left, or maybe a minute or so to go. Yeah, it was not well executed at the end of this game. The turnovers, yeah, I think all three, it might have been 3 turnovers in the last like 2 minutes. Again, after only having 4 the entirety of the game leading into the fourth quarter, they had 3 just in the fourth, and that's going to kill you so many times, you know, especially when it's the biggest game of your season. So, you know, very, very unfortunate. Here we go. We don't have sound quite yet, but Brendan Nunez here tweeting out, let me make sure this is all good. Let me zoom in here. Brendan Nunez of Sactown sports fame tweeting out here, Mike Brown clearly unhappy with officiating. He mentioned 3 pivotal late no calls in their recent game. SGA traveling in OKC, which we talked about. Colby Jones getting hit in the face. De'Aaron Fox getting fouled on that last play. Mike, come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. I get it. You got to stick up for your guy, but Mike, come on. I disagree. The OKC and Boston moments were both confirmed incorrect no calls on the last 2 minutes reports. Tough way to lose basketball games and stuff. As obvious as it is, but there was a no call. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been looking through our chat this whole time. I don't believe I saw a single person say, where's the foul? Where is the foul on De'Aaron Fox's final shot? Did anybody? Yeah, Brandon, funny enough, as I'm scrolling back, I'm just seeing this. Yeah, I'm looking through it. I don't see a single person in the chat. Not that the chat is end all be all, but you know, I know y'all are definitely watching the game and you guys definitely have your opinions. I don't see a single person saying where was the foul on Fox in that final play. I just didn't see it. I definitely did not see any sort of foul. To me, looked like, frankly, Bradley Beal played really good defense. Looked like De'Aaron tried to go up with a shot and just was empty-handed, which kind of happened a lot today. Happened to Trey once. He lost it on a turnover. Happened to Bradley Beal a couple times. Happened to Sabonis. I don't know if the ball was slick or if the floor was slick or what was happening, but there was a lot of loose balls tonight, and it was a pretty sloppy game. It was not clean, obviously, opposite of sloppy, but it just kind of, and it didn't feel like it was because they were tight. It didn't feel like it was because this is a big game for both teams, and you know, both teams just trying to go out there and not make mistakes, but aren't playing freely. It just kind of felt like it was a lot of bricks, especially at the start of this game. I think both teams were like 2 of 10 from 3 to start the game, so just kind of from start to finish was a really, really weird result. Let's see here. I'm just trying to see if you guys have any thoughts on that De'Aaron stuff. Keegan's missed dunk. Oh my God, shortcake. Yeah, like I didn't even see if Devin Booker touched it or not. I know they showed the replay here in the arena. I definitely wouldn't call it a foul. I don't know if Book got the ball, but it looked like Keegan kind of, you know, was dunking sideways. Book definitely didn't get the front hand. If anything, he got like the back of the ball and maybe hit Keegan's hand, but ultimately, Keegan, you got it. Again, I keep almost swearing. It's game 81, and I've made it through all of these streams without saying a single bad word, and I've almost done it twice today. But Keegan, you have to make that dunk. You just have to finish that. I mean, Curtis, for sure. I mean, you know, that's a very real possibility, not just because of what Mike Brown is saying about the Kings not getting the benefit of the whistle here recently, but because, again, the opponents that you have to play in the play-in are Kevin freaking Durant or Devin Booker, LeBron James or Anthony Davis in the Los Angeles Lakers, or Wardell Curry. And even though Steph did twist his ankle today, just to kind of throw that in there. But, yeah, or you have to go against the Warriors. All of those teams we know the NBA would much, much much rather see in the playoffs than the Sacramento Kings. So, yeah, in a way, the Kings probably will be playing 5-on-6 in all of their play-in games. Hopefully, they only play one in a good way. Hopefully, they win that one play-in game and don't have to deal with multiple games of playing 5-on-6. Let's see here. Really? That's hilarious. Malik was roasting Keegan for missing that dunk. I'm sure he is. Malik has been... I love Malik playing, but him not playing, him being on the bench, is equally as entertaining, I promise. If you get an opportunity to see the Kings on Sunday or in hopefully a playoff game here next week or the week after, Malik is like talking to refs at quarter breaks, at timeouts. He's, standing up, like he is as involved as anybody else on that bench. And yeah, I saw him talking with a ref at half court. He's kind of like De'Aaron's like anchor translator, kind of. Like he's been all over the place, and it's really funny. And Kevin Huerter also back with the team as well. He had his surgery. He's in a sling. Got a new haircut, little new hairstyle. He's got a little the back of his hair, kind of like if you could imagine if someone were to have like a faux hawk, his hair kind of in the back. I don't know what it would be considered, but just kind of tails at the end. So Kevin's out here looking fresh. Ooh, we have audio from one De'Aaron Fox. Let's hear from Foxy. Hold on. He says, I got fouled. Oh, this is short, sweet, and simple.
Through that last play and just what you saw from your perspective.
I got fouled. Wasn't even close to the ball, so.
Okay, there you go. I got fouled. Wasn't even close to the ball. I would love to see this final play again here because I just don't. Again, I really don't remember seeing anything that I thought was too egregious. Let me see. Somebody must have posted it somewhere, right? Let's see here. I'll look at Beal. Let's see here. Bradley Beal. Shout out Beal because we'll see Bradley Beal with 3 biggest plays of the game. Let's see here if they have this. Okay. Here we go. So this is the final play of the game. Let's break this down here. Let's see what happens. We're going full screen mode. We're going to go full screen.
Fox.
Okay. So here's De'Aaron. Let's see. I'm going to slow this down. Sorry for everybody who isn't a fan of slow-mo, but I got to figure this out. So here we go. You can see already right here, there's some hooking going on. I don't know if this is what De'Aaron's talking about, but this is normal. This is very normal for the last play of the game. Again, you can see De'Aaron's elbow kind of out there. I think that's probably what he's talking about because, again, there's no contact here. He's not swiping at the ball or anything. Again, you can see both of Beal's arms. You can see Grayson's. Booker's not there. Maybe here you could say Beal reaches in. I don't know if this is contact. I can't tell if De'Aaron's left arm is kind of pulled back there. We would need a better angle on it, but I don't really see it. I'm sorry. I just don't. Honestly, this is more of a push-off watching it. I wouldn't even consider that. Yeah, I don't think that's a foul on Beal there because to me, this is De'Aaron creating space. He's pushing off. That's it. If it's there, then I guess, but I don't know. I really don't know. Let me hear what Bradley Beal had to say. I don't know if this is clean or not, but we'll see.
What type of a zone were you in out there?
Playoff zone, man. It's time. It's time to start playing defense. It's time to execute it and take care of the ball, offense. It's time, man. We want to win the ring. It's time. It's time. It's time, Amanda. It's time. It's time to execute it and take care of the ball, offense, and start playing defense. It's time to start playing defense.
He did say it's time to stop playing defense. I know what he meant, but sorry, Brad. Yeah, so there you have it. I'm going to see if there's another angle on that Bradley Beal steal, just because I don't know. I'm going to look at the chat here in a second. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think Bradley Beal reached in on that final play? Here we go. Here's a different angle. Beal seemed pretty happy with that one. Might have saved the Lakers season. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if there's a different angle of that Beal strip. I just don't see it, guys. I'm sorry. I'm like, here. I'll share my screen here so you guys can see what I'm looking at too. I'm having a really tough time finding the right angle. Our guy Brendan Nunez posted his view of it here. Like, this is a good angle. Unfortunately, Booker kind of blocks where the contact would be seen. You can see the ball here. Like, it would have to happen right in this moment here. You can see Beal reaching in, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can kind of see there's a still frame right here. You can see. Let's see here. Let's go Zoomo here. Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit of like arm contact there. I guess it's pretty nitpicky. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because to me, that's the best shot you're gonna see of contact. I don't know. I mean, I think that's like letter of the law a foul, but in the moment, for game, are we sure we want that called? Are we sure? I don't know. Like, you know, the Kings glasses on, absolutely. Absolutely, Kings glasses on, you want that foul called. But, you know, if that's the Kings, I don't know. Like, that feels kind of soft. And yeah, he drove. Look at this. There's 3 guys around him. Absolutely. Sorry, as I'm just talking, I'm reading your guys' comments, but not putting on here. Yeah, he drove. Yeah, he drove into a double team and gave up his dribble. Technically, actually, it was a triple team. Yeah, I don't think so. Yep, absolutely. This is so true, too. They typically ISO when at the end of the game when Malik and Fox, but there's no Fox, so I think it's just a bad play. Doesn't make sense when they're going to collapse on it. I know what you meant. You meant, but there's no Monk. Yeah, they typically go ISO with Monk and Fox at the end of games, but there's no Monk out there, so I think it's just a bad play. Doesn't make much sense. They're going to collapse on him. That is it. I could not have put that any better, except for the Monk-Fox switch. But no, absolutely. I 100% agree. Like, to me, De'Aaron, in these situations, I know you're clutch player of the year. I know you probably don't trust a lot of your teammates. Maybe not even in a disrespectful way, just in a, hey, man, like, you know, I kind of do this. But I would say you should be a decoy. You should probably be a decoy in this. You should know that you're going to draw this kind of attention, and you should probably find the open man. There's got to be an open man somewhere on this possession. Let's look at this from a different angle here and see, as that's Dave's dog in front of our face here. Bradley Beal, look at Brendan's tweet getting some attention here. Let's go to, there was another angle here. This is not Bradley Beal. Let's see here. That is that angle. Dang, I swear, here it is. Here's a different angle here as well. So this probably isn't the best to find the open shooter, but even you can already see Keon here in the corner. If Book's here, then there's probably somebody right here on the elbow. You definitely can't go Sabonis here. Yeah, let's look at that broadcast angle and see where else De'Aaron could have gone here. Again, not that this ultimately matters, but let's see here. So Keegan actually probably should come here. I guess they're trying to kind of get them all flat, but to me at this point, yeah, Keegan should be running up here to this open spot right at the G right here. There's no way. Maybe Royce O'Neal will follow him, but this is essentially you have 3 Kings here and 2 Suns defenders. Book is has just completely sold on all of this. So if Keegan runs into this spot right here, De'Aaron's going to be, or even if he goes even higher, if he goes up here, he can get like an uninterrupted passing lane and wouldn't even have to like go around Book at all. So you can kind of, hindsight being 2020, you can maybe say Keegan's got to have a bit more of awareness and try and bail him out. But you can also say Keon Ellis is sitting right here in the corner by himself, right in front of De'Aaron Fox's face. And, I know seating on the line, you probably don't want to have all of that come down to Keon Ellis's jump shot, but sometimes you just got to trust your teammates. And, you kind of put yourself in a situation here where you're putting the game in the referee's hands. This is not where you want to be. Is De'Aaron Fox going to hit this shot right here, rising up over 3 defenders? I don't know. I don't know how many times I've seen De'Aaron hit this shot this year. Not many. So I don't really love that this is kind of how it all ends. So unfortunate, just unfortunate. Let's go through the comments here. Yeah, Sabonis busted his ankle as well in the game tonight. That was definitely not ideal. Let's see here. Man, preach to the choir, man. Need Malik back in sack next year. He's the heart and soul of this team. Absolutely. Interesting. Okay, so there's one for sure. For sure. Okay. Alex is saying wrist. Lessons. He got hit on the wrist. Freaking so loud, Tom, just to smash on the table and go off. Maybe Mike Brown will. Yeah, we are now in the 9 and the 10. So, okay, Curtis said he saw it initially. He told y'all you got fouled. It's just tough when you fight. You can't even get the call on your own home court. That is interesting. That's for sure interesting. I don't really ever factor in that part of it, but it doesn't feel like the Kings get any sort of a home court advantage, or in terms of referees, doesn't feel like they get much home cooking there. I agree. This is also what I just tend to agree with in general. I like to say I'm more of a process-oriented guy. Like, it would have been, of course, fine and dandy if De'Aaron did hit that shot, but ultimately, I think the process that you want him to go through is, it's the same thing that we talked about with LeBron James early in his career. Like, oh, LeBron needs to take that shot because he's the best player on the team. Well, LeBron didn't like to do that. He liked to make the right play and find the open guy. And I just think ultimately, I think De'Aaron made the wrong decision, and I think that's the thing to focus on, not whether shots go in and out. Shots go in and out all the time. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you meant to make a shot. Ultimately, it kind of doesn't matter. What matters is your decision or the why of why you did something, and I just don't think De'Aaron's why has been very good in the last minute of these past couple games. So it's really disappointing, but I even said it after the Oklahoma City game. This is what it is, man. Your season's always going to come down to the best player having the ball in his hand and making the decision, whether or not he decides to move the ball, whether or not he decides to take it himself. That's ultimately up to the guy that you got. But I just think that this is kind of how the NBA goes, and your best players are always going to make the decisions with the game on the line. There's only so much that your coach can do. There's only so much that the other guys on the floor can do ultimately. This is a star-driven league, and this is a prime example of why. I don't believe this is true, if I'm not mistaken, saying the Warriors are resting everyone on Sunday and New Orleans have nothing to play for against the Lakers, so Warriors at Kings on Wednesday for the play-in is pretty much a lock. If I'm not mistaken, Golden State doesn't have anything to play for. That's true. They're also playing Utah, so that game in terms of the head-to-head matchup ultimately doesn't matter. It only matters, well, Golden State might want to win to get the home play-in game just to kind of put the pressure on the Kings, but I don't think I'm pretty sure the Pelicans will still, because now that the Suns won, I believe the Pelicans are only still a game. Yes, they're still a game ahead of Phoenix. So the Pelicans actually need to win to hold off Phoenix. Phoenix has to play, I think, Minnesota on Sunday, which is a really tough game. But New Orleans is trying to hold off Phoenix, who is right on their tail for the 6th seed. So I do think New Orleans has something to play for against LA on Sunday. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I there's a chance that I could be wrong. Okay, apparently I'm blind. According to Mr. Mike Dizzle, sick name, I'm blind. I'm we're employed. Yeah, okay, for sure. Home score should not matter. Okay, I guess I'm hella blind. Everyone's saying I'm hella blind. All right, cool. I guess so. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, everybody's saying that they see the arm. Cool. No, I am one person, and this is a mob of people saying they see a foul. So I'm not going to argue with you guys at all. I do think that that's just kind of how that situation's going to go, though. If you're going to get triple teamed, you're going to have to get slapped real hard to get that foul called. I don't know. Let's see. Let me watch it. We'll watch it one more time in full speed. And I mean, this is more to I'm trying to be on your guys' side. Let me see here. Let's see here. Full speed. See, what I also don't think you guys can see, though, is De'Aaron loses the ball off of his leg. And, I don't think De'Aaron has the ball at this point right here. He was already losing the ball. It went off his thigh. I wonder if in Brendan's angle, if you could see it. Again, here I am. I don't want to make it sound like I'm trying to find an excuse to be right. But I do, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Brendan. Brendan, your angle is almost perfect. Brendan's angle is almost perfect. You just can't see. You just can't. Booker's blocking the last part.
The dribble drive.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know where I saw and maybe it was from the in-arena replay, but I swear on everything I saw De'Aaron lose the ball. But ultimately, yeah, you guys are saying it. A foul is a foul. It shouldn't matter if it's in the last minute. It shouldn't matter if De'Aaron was taking, a bad shot. A foul is a foul, and yeah, that if y'all are saying you see it clearly, then it should have been called. It probably should have, and I wonder if that's something another 2-minute report thing. If that, because it's just interesting. It didn't seem like the Kings were super adamant about the refs looking at that. But yeah, ultimately, I mean, frankly, none of it really matters because we are in a situation where the Kings lost the game, and they were up 16 in the third quarter, and you put it in the hands of the referees, and sometimes they're not going to do you favors. I guess here is the full statement here on from De'Aaron Fox on the foul call. Let's see here. Let's get it in De'Aaron's words.
De'Aaron, can you walk us through that last play and just what you saw from your perspective?
I got fouled. Wasn't even close to the ball, so.
De'Aaron, can you kind of walk us through the play design there at the end, and was it Brad that you felt like got you, and where?
I didn't feel like anything. You can go watch it. He very clearly got me, but when it's me, they always say I didn't see it or whatever, or marginal contact, so.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what the play was. If I got fouled, I got fouled. I'm trying to pick up the ball, hits my whole arm, they get the steal.
Interesting, yeah. Okay. Oh, this is the angle we've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. See, so
A little bit of contact from
Oh,
Beal
okay,
on
he
the
actually
drop.
didn't lose the ball. I thought he lost it
Look like
right. I think on this dribble, you can see him. The ball's in his palm right now. He kind of loses it. I thought that went off his thigh. So that's where I'm mistaken right here. Is I thought it was a loose ball at this point, and De'Aaron never really fully had it. So he definitely, he corrals it right there. He pulls it back, and right here. So right here is the contact. Yeah, you can see De'Aaron trying to pull up there, and he can't.
Contact.
You know what the problem is? De'Aaron didn't sell it enough. You have to really pull
From Beal.
on Beal's hand there.
the wrist.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I see it. I definitely see it.
From
there.
that angle, it looked like
I can definitely see it there. And like I said, I kind of thought De'Aaron had lost the ball at that point already. So yeah. Of course. Always. This is Content Creator 101. Comments are always right. Comments are always right. Appreciate you guys keeping me honest. Okay, jeez. Damn, y'all are big mad, bro. Y'all are really big mad. Jeez. Kings blew this game. Yep. Keon was open on that last shot. Yep. Who's going to get Clutch Player of the Year this year? I think Steph is the favorite. If I'm not mistaken, I think Steph is the favorite. I know he missed a possible game tire today. This is why the award was stupid, because I think their thought process was that there was going to be like a Damian Lillard every year, and I know DeRozan had one year where he hit like 4 or 5 game winners, and they just kind of lost their minds off of one season and didn't really think it through. And I think they were expecting just every year someone to just kind of noticeably stand out and always be someone who has a ton of buzzer beaters. And this year, for whatever reason, I can't really think of anyone who has hit multiple buzzer beaters in a game this year. And I could be mistaken, but I just can't think of anybody. So I think it's going to be Steph. But yeah, you ain't wrong. It's definitely not going to be De'Aaron. Yeah, the play was definitely not good. I also don't know if there even was a play, because I don't think they even set a screen or anything. Like, it was just kind of De'Aaron got it at the top of half court, took a little in and out dribble, no screen, no nothing. The play was for De'Aaron to get to his spot at the free throw line and rise up. That is not a good play. That is not a good play at all. That is not good. I agree. I don't think Mike Brown drew that up. If I had to guess, Jay Triano is actually the one who draws up their offensive plays. But it was not good at all. I completely agree with you there. Okay, just reading through you guys' comments. Let's see here. I think you're talking about the playoffs here, Curtis. You ain't wrong. It's hard to get in the club when they don't want you there. I hear what you're saying. And that's where it's been unfair to be a Kings fan for as long as I'm sure all of you have been for a very long time. That's the pain, man, is the league is never on your side. C-Web was in the building tonight, so a lot of early 2000s vibes in the building, and we've known since that time that the referees are not our friends, and it's a great point. I know everyone's pointed it out, but yeah, the fact that the opponents that the Kings have to play here are all pretty big marquee names doesn't bode well for the Kings. Doesn't bode well at all, because those stuff matters. Those stuff definitely matters. Shortcake's always. You know what? One day I'm gonna retire. Hopefully after game 82 here, or after the season's over, and I'm just gonna have Shortcake take over the show because she's always got the best points. Yeah, King only missed one free throw tonight, which is an absolute godsend. Yes, absolutely. See, that's what I'm saying. We're not good enough floppers. Need to take notes from Booker. I actually, especially after watching that Fox play, I do think he had to flail a bit more. He had to draw more attention to Beal reaching in there. I know it was like a really kind of quick 1 second motion, but if you feel that, you've got to yank it, man. You really have to drag it and try and overemphasize it. I'm not saying it's De'Aaron's fault ultimately. Definitely not. It's ultimately absolutely on the referees to look for that and see it. But I definitely agree that, you know, we could do a better job of selling. Alan likes to say that we play with integrity, which is the route that I like to take as well. Yep, absolutely. Fox doesn't flop. He needs to do what all the other guys do, like SGA. Hit that head whip every time. Let's see here. Yeah. Dame or DeRozan, definitely. Yeah, I know DeRozan's got a ton of fourth quarter points, so it definitely might be DeRozan. Very fun game to be at. Definitely. He nailed it. What up? Do you have any predictions about how the plan will go? Not well, probably. Probably not well. Do you have anything to say? Just gonna.
Got to, mount up at some point, but I just can't do this anymore.
There you go. Let's see here. You have to act more on the court. How the foul. Yeah. Take lessons from Vladi, who was also sitting courtside. Him and C-Web were enjoying the courtside vibes for sure. It was good to see those two. Good to see those two hanging out and just kind of vibing. Brad Miller too. Was chilling out with them. Don't listen to that, man. I played De'Aaron and the quote from Mike, but I haven't played the audio. They're definitely getting fined. They're 1,000% getting fined. Last game of the season though, so I almost swore again. I almost said F it. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if anybody else has dropped post-game audio before. Do we even? I guess we do 3 stars. I've done it for all the season. I might as well continue it. Let's see here. Just trying to see if anybody's posted any more audio. We will give 1 star tonight. I can't go 4 minutes. I'm sorry, Matt. I can't watch 4 minutes on Mike Brown. You know what? We're just going to hear Mike Brown's opening statements here, and then we're going to do 3 stars of the night. Oh, yeah, you can fine, boy. That's a fine. I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna pause here because Domantas Sabonis absolutely hugged Yusuf Nurkic. He hugged Nurkic. That was absolutely a foul. I did not like the timing of it, but it was. If we want to stay consistent here, that was absolutely a foul from Sabonis. Oh, my bad, y'all. My bad. I had this thing muted. My bad. My bad.
Fox got
From
my seat. I'm just baffled. I'm not sure why we can't get a call from an NBA official down the stretch.
Getting fined.
You know, for them to call a box out on Sabonis. A box-out foul game is as physical as it is, and give him 2 free throw attempts to take the lead with seconds left in the game. And then I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but from my seat, it looked like Fox got hit across the arm. And, I actually pray that I'm wrong, because then I'll sleep better at night. But we got beat by New Orleans. They came in here and they beat us. But if you look at our other losses besides that, again, from my seat, it looked like De'Aaron got fouled across the arm. In Oklahoma City, Shea traveled. In Boston, Kobe gets smacked in the face. And, in real time, when you're trying to plead your case, guys look at you and they say there was no contact and there was no this and no that. And it's just tough when you can't get a call, but the other team keeps getting calls, and the officials feel like that they're right. And then the 2-minute report comes out, and Shea traveled, Kobe got smacked in the face, and they go home and sleep at night, and we're up all night fretting over the game, because we're fighting for our playoff lives. So, but it's tough to see it from my seat, and like I said, I hope the officials were right in the no call, especially when they called a box-out foul on Domas to give Nurkic 2 free throws to put him up. But it's just a tough way to lose basketball games when stuff is as obvious as it is. But there's no call.
Building off that.
Go ahead.
Well, there you go. There you have it. Yeah, he's definitely getting fined. That's for damn sure. I promise you that. He is definitely going to get fined for that one. But, I definitely think he's got a point, and I definitely hear you, Curtis. I definitely think that could be a huge part of it, is the fact that he's more just saying, I would like some consistency. It is crazy to call, regardless of whether it was painfully obvious or not. I do think it is kind of crazy to call a box-out foul for essentially playoff seeding on the line. It's a little crazy for the game to end up coming down for that. Yeah. No, don't. First off, I don't want to do this in game 81, but this fool is, he has been an absolute troll all year long. He's been in and out of here. Yeah, like truth or whatever, truth or sport, whatever your name is, Ultimate Kingpin. We all know it's you. It's just it wasn't that you were saying bad things about Sabonis. It was you're being obnoxious about it. Like, you continue with these, it's McPhail, like, brother, like, what do you want? Like, you're just complaining. You're not giving solutions. You're not saying, like, what you're not liking about them specifically. Sabonis is a dumpster fire. Get Brown out of town. Like, these are not takes. These are just complaints about nothing. No one will ban you, Lydia, for saying Sabonis is not a 4. He's a true center. I don't necessarily agree, but you can absolutely have that take. Absolutely. And if we want to have a conversation about it, absolutely. What do you like about Sabonis at the 4? I would say that personally, I think that it disrupts the spacing, and I think that it's really hard to have Sabonis and Alex Len out there at the same time. I think you can definitely run Sabonis with another big, but I think the bigger problem is it's the spacing. So you kind of need to play him with a guy like Chet Holmgren, like an Evan Mobley, because those guys can play on the perimeter and not bog things in the middle. Because if you have Sabonis, let's say, they played, this is just an example, just throwing this out there. If they had Steven Adams next to Sabonis, you can't have Steven Adams, Sabonis, and De'Aaron Fox, 3 people who are clearly paint-driven, around-the-rim guys. It just kind of bogs it up a little bit too much. So That's why I would push back and say he's not a 4, but I'm not going to ban you like this freaking guy who likes to play a victim role and act like, oh my gosh, I'm getting crucified in the comments. Oh, nobody wants to hear the truth. No, bro, no one wants to hear you ramble about nothing. You're just complaining. That's it. If you have a nice solution, feel free. Sabonis for market, thank you. See, like that's something that we can launch off of. Still saying right now, Sabonis for Markin and Collins. Why do you want John Collins? That would be my retort. John Collins hasn't shown that he's an NBA player in a couple of years. Saying we want Lauri Markkanen, that's fine, but why do we need to trade Domantas Sabonis for Lauri Markkanen when you have Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter and draft picks to do that? Why would you trade your second best player in all NBA? Why would you do all NBA for all NBA? That doesn't make sense. You know, that doesn't make sense at all. You should just move. You should move some of your secondary pieces or your side pieces and try and leverage that into that third star. You don't want to sub star for star. That's a lateral move. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else, truth or trash? You got any other fun stuff to throw around? Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna do 3 stars of the night because I've been on for an hour. This is game 81. I have to work. It's a Friday night, y'all, and I've just spent an hour. And the game started at 7:30. So, brother, I said Barnes, Huerter, and multiple picks. Barnes, Huerter, multiple picks. Please listen. Okay, I don't know what you're doing. Are you just typing? You're just typing away without listening to the actual show? Come on, my guy. Try and keep up. 3 stars of the game. First star of the night. I want to give it to Keon Ellis. I think he had a really good game offensively. Defensively, I kind of wanted him to make it a little bit tougher on Book. I want to give it to Keegan. Not super efficient. I'll give it to... I'm not going to look at the stat sheet. I'm gonna vibe it out. Let's vibe it out. Please, Brandon. I'm almost. I just need to get through this one little 3 stars, and we can get me home. And then I'll be back on Sunday. So tomorrow's my only day off. You don't have to feel bad for me. What are we even doing? 3 stars. That's actually really interesting. Who was the best player for the Kings today? I don't even know who you would really say. I mean, De'Aaron definitely had his moment. Like, this was a game where a lot of people had some moments. I think Keegan definitely, looked aggressive today, looking for a shot. HB, I even thought, played pretty well, looking for a shot. Keon, Sabonis definitely had a big game. I don't know if this is like a 3-star game for him. I think I want to settle Sabonis 2 stars. I think I figured it out. I'm going to give 1 star to De'Aaron. Just a little bit of an inefficient night. The last minute, again, wasn't great. We went in detail about the last shot there at the end of the game. I don't think that's ideally the shot that you want to get is that mid-range jumper. I know he hit one, I think with like 3 or 4 minutes to go, but then didn't hit either of his middies in that last minute. Ultimately, again, another game where you're probably not in it if he's not out there, if he's not giving you what he gave you. So it's kind of tough. It's a double-edged sword where you aren't there without him, but in the end of the game, you just kind of feel like you could have made better decisions, and there's a really good chance that the game goes in a different direction. De'Aaron did finish with 4 steals, which should not go unnoticed. Only had 2 turnovers, which I think is pretty decent, but ultimately just wasn't really efficient enough for me to feel like he earned more than a star. I think I'm going to go 2 stars, Keegan Murray. Keegan was really aggressive. More so, definitely in that fourth quarter. He hit 2 threes in the fourth. He was 2 of 5 from the field, but just looking for a shot. Really in the second half in general, kind of turned it up. 2 of 5. So yeah, 4 of 10 in the second half in general. We've talked about in the past Keegan having to step up and just kind of, be more aggressive with Malik out. Didn't get to see the playmaking out of Keegan today. Definitely would have liked to see a couple more passes out of Keegan, but still got the rebounds held down. I think he finished with 7 rebounds and knocked down 5 triples. So definitely, obviously, need him hitting shots from the perimeter with all their guys down. The Kings bench today was terrible. I didn't even realize. You had 7 total bench points. 1 of 7 from Davion, 1 of 2 from Trey, 1 of 1 from Alex Len. A combined 30 minutes from your bench, only 3 guys deep. So Mike Brown definitely went with more of a playoff rotation tonight, and definitely felt like it was necessary. Would have felt like too much of a wild card, I think, to go to guys like Duarte and Kessler tonight. Obviously didn't see Sasha either. 3 stars. I think I said I was going to give 2 stars to Sabonis, but I ended up giving 3 stars to Sabonis anyway, because you just look at the stat line and you have 25, 12, and 9. It's tough to not be impressed with that. He's really handled Nurkic all year long. Has really been a physical presence down there. I think I didn't love all the turnovers that Sabonis had tonight. Definitely feels like it's been a real problem for him all season. I'm pretty sure he's top 5 in the NBA when it comes to turnovers, which is obviously not a number that you want to be in top of. He is top 11. He is 3.3 turnovers per game. Let me see if it totals. Maybe he's a little bit higher on that list for totals. He's number 2 actually in total turnovers for the season. So definitely has been a problem all year long. But yeah, 9 assists, 2 turnovers tonight only for Sabonis. That's a really good ratio, 9-2. 4 offensive boards, 5 of 6 from the line. He was the Kings' only missed free throw from the line, but on a night like tonight, just felt like Sabonis did have a really big impact. Ultimately, I think I don't know if I would say he was the most important player for the Kings, but definitely was the most productive. I think all the way around, as he tends to be. All right, so that's going to be a wrap for today. I will see you all on Sunday after Game 82 against the Portland Trailblazers right here from Golden One Center. We've been on for an hour. That's probably an hour too long. I will see you guys on Sunday. Peace.